All right, everyone. There's a lot going on right now with regards to Iran. And a lot of people are saying, well, the U.S. needs to attack the Iranians. Mainly, I'm seeing this from the legacy media more than anyone else. I've seen three different news articles this morning where they're querying, well, do we have anything that can penetrate their nuclear facilities? The short answer is, yeah, we do. We have what's called a bunker buster. It can penetrate 200 feet of material. It's capable of doing significant damage, although it has been noted that you would need several of them in order to do the job. Are we capable of doing this logistically? Yeah, we're definitely capable. You could drill in and effectively collapse the understructure with a single hit. The damage would already be significant, but the problem is number one, Iran has air defense systems. So getting the bombers into place to actually drop the bunker busters would be an issue. Secondly, why would we even fathom doing this? That would be an act of war, a direct one, and it would be our country involved. It wouldn't just be a proxy war involving Israel, with very limited logistics. Now, in the last few hours, apparently it's been reported that there's a significant mobilization of air resources actually within the United States. My hope is that this is going to take a defensive pattern as opposed to an offensive pattern, because war with Iran is something that I don't really want. It sounds like a bad idea. Here's the problem. Let's say you go to war with Iran. Is the United States logistically capable of defeating Iran in a pitched battle? Yeah, we can run our air systems over Iran and park offshore with our navy and bombard the shit out of them, killing tens of thousands of civilians likely in the process. Will this antagonize other nations in the world? Yeah. What you could have is a chain escalation. Israel has attacked Iran, and Iran has re-attacked against Israel right now. Israel is also at war with Hamas. Hezbollah could get involved. It could get very messy already. Even if we didn't have any involvement whatsoever, you're probably at this point looking at a regional conflict that goes beyond the scale of what you've already gotten. Uh, we've got fuel air bombs, we've got bunker busters, we've got nukes, we've got, the toys that make the noise. Wonderful. That's great. I believe in having a beefy U.S. military presence in the world and running shipping lanes against modern pirates, which aren't as good as the old school pirates, of course, is something that I support because otherwise our economy gets flatlined effectively along with many others. That's fine. The problem is, let's say that we attack Iran, something that I would absolutely 100% oppose, by the way, and I would castigate the Trump administration if it chose direct military action in Iran. You don't have to be Team Palestine or anything like that, or be anti-Israel to understand why it's a bad idea. Here's why. You attack Iran. You get retaliated against by potentially Pakistan. Pakistan ends up also in a war with India, fracturing BRICS. China gets involved. Russia diverts and gets involved. Europe gets involved. Pretty soon you have conditions that are ripe for literal World War III. And it will involve potentially nuclear weapons, because each side backed into a corner is going to act like a rabid animal, effectively. A starving, cornered animal is going to fight much more ferociously. Everyone's going to feel like they're backed into a corner. And in many of these cultures, you have the sense of high level, like patriotic national pride, where the leaders, if they don't engage in ever escalating behavior and total war, they end up getting deposed anyway. And then somebody more warmongering ends up replacing them. This has happened before, actually. Certainly happened in World War I on numerous occasions. Happens all the time. So you could end up with literally World War III. I don't want that to happen. I want to be left alone to grow turnips and shit like that. I think that most people feel the same. Most people in the world are peace loving generally. They just want to do their thing. It's when government and the military brass get involved that you get this kind of conflict. And by the way, war is the result of a breakdown in diplomacy. It's a result in the breakdown of communications. During the Cold War, for example, the US and the Soviet Union had direct lines of communication in order to prevent exactly this sort of situation from happening. When there was a skirmish or a conflict or an accidental shoot down or a glitch in the, which happened under Jimmy Carter with that famous cassette or whatever they had back then that they popped into the system accidentally and thought that there was a nuclear attack incoming, those lines of communication are very, very important. Otherwise, you end up with a nuclear war. And the fact is that between the powers of the world and their likely targets, most of humanity would be vaporized. Now, you could not wish for a better death because you'll be dead before you even know that you're dead, and so you'll feel absolutely no pain and be vaporized into a pile of ashes. That's the good news. The bad news is that then the people that survive have to rebuild all of society all over again, and they're going to be doing it with fairly limited technology because most of that technology would be quite fried by the amount of radiation that's wafting around. It would effectively decimate, most of civilization. The survivors would probably not be able to grow enough food. Then you get famine and cholera and things. I talk about this in my book, After the Ashes, which is on its second edition, by the way. And so, why are we even discussing this? This could lead to a chain reaction that ends up in a literal nuclear war. It's very, very, I mean, the doomsday clock needs to be moved ahead a little bit, I think. We're like 1 microsecond from doomsday, actually, at the moment, as a result of the actions that are being taken in a place in the world far away from many of the people that are viewing this video. And I don't think that it's helpful. I think that it's unhelpful. So I'm not Team Iran, not Team Israel, and I'm certainly not Team War. That's about all. Peace out.